Welcome to another episode of Why Are You Giving Me Money? And this is what you're paying for. I'm your host, Locke, and let's go ahead and get started. So for our September updates, I've added a few new things that I think will be really useful, so let's go ahead and get in. The first one is going to be animated parallax layers. So right now, as of this reading, there used to not be animated parallax layers. Simply put, you just had one that was kind of stuck. Now you can actually do multiple textures. In this case, you can see that I have everything's enforced to one direction because you don't have multiple directions for a parallax. It's just a flat image with 3 frames. As you can see here, the frame duration is 100 milliseconds and the frame width and height are 400 by 300. I've done a little hue shift on it, but it doesn't have to be. I'll go ahead and change that just to prove it because, hey, why not? You'll also notice that there is a frame border. So this is extremely useful for 3D because when you get into 3D stuff, you can essentially have a little bit of a blurring effect where it tries to grab pixels, and because you use math, we'll call it that simply, you end up grabbing pixels that are not on what you want. So you'll notice that some 3D textures and the like have an extra border around it so that when it gets to those edges, you grab from the border, which gives you a cleaner thing. For this, you're not really going to see it because so much of this is transparent. So we've got a big transparency, but if I were to do something like this, I would need to change the size down, subtracted by 8 on each side. So this would then be 392, and this would go ahead and be 292. And you'll see that you can see everything looks fine now. Realistically, there really shouldn't be any reason you would ever use anything other than 1. But I'm dragging that in there for the sake of kind of future-proofing in case there's something that I have not accounted for. So let's go ahead and see what this looks like right here. So I've got this. This is my own little internal text project. I am going to drop my character right here, save, and run. And this time, thanks to Bert's miraculous help, I don't have the music turned up super loud. So you can see here, the parallax is actually animating. My character is inside the structure because I didn't set them up correctly, so, that's awesome. But you can see at least that each of these is animating. They're changing their color, they're doing all of that, so we're good there. The next thing is we also support animated Skyspheres as well. So this is very similar to our parallax layer, but in this case, this is for essentially the bounding box around your entire sky, right? So here is something that one of our members made, one of our architects, and it's just going to go ahead and have a sun-like object that gets bigger and smaller and apparently has some text behind it, I guess. Unless I broke something. Who knows? It's happened before. So we've got that. It has a frame border of 2, and again, this is because if you have something like clouds, it may, as you get to the border edge of one of your frames, you may get something weird where you have kind of bleed over because of math, basically. So we want to fix that. Let's go ahead and change this. Let's get a 0.5. So my number pad's not up. There we go. There we go. So now it's a nice orange color. We've got a sunset going on. All right. I'll go ahead and demo this again. Drag my little map over. And right there you can see it's animated. And apparently I did not actually hue shift this. So enjoy the code. We're going to go ahead and have to fix that probably with today's update. Make sure that this actually did take it. It did take it, so. But let's go ahead and just change it to 0 so it's back to what we would expect. Any day now. This is a very large image, by the way. There we go. So the correct color is that blue. So it looks like the hue shift may not just be applied. There we go. There we go. Look at that. There's our kind of weird moving sun. There's also a velocity set to this, so that's why your scenes kind of move all around. So that is one of our other big updates. In addition to some of the other features that have been added, there's also the compass control now. Let's give a quick idea of what that looks like. You'll see here, I have the golden compass for some reason. There we go. Definitely was not testing this before. We'll make the new golden compass. From here, I'll go ahead and create a background. And we'll use a picture, just because that's easy right now. I'll use an image. Skysphere. Why not? You can have a nice, pretty view when you're working with this. And we're going to set the relative x and y. We'll set that to something like 20. 20. And then we don't want to take up the full screen, so we'll go 40% and 40%. Actually, 60% and 60%. Like Bert, I'm amazing at math. Okay. This is our background. Now we're going to go ahead and add our compasses. You'll see off the bat already you have items assigned to it. Now I want to make sure this is constrained to the same area, so I'm also going to make this 20%, 20%, 60%, and 60%. So now it's going to be constrained to the same area. Default, that's our central area. We'll go ahead and use this cool guy here. We're going to go ahead and do that. Set it for 1 frame. Click that again. There we go. Look at that. Looks pretty good. We're going to go ahead. That's the central frame of anything. We're going to set the vertical alignment with everything. And middle. Everything looks good here. Sprite horizontal. We'll make it middle. And our normal alignment, we'll go ahead and do middle. Fantastic. Now, for our north frame, we can go ahead. I'm going to put a different character here because why not? So here's one character. I believe this is 36 by 26. There we go. That's a cool little guy right there, showing up there. To our northwest, let's use a female character. Do I have a female character? I do. Maybe this is a male character, I don't know. Get a little hue shift on here. Right there. Now let's set a south item. We can just use some text to say, this is the south. Alright. One of the special updates that you can do with this is you can require key selection. This requires you to hold down the buttons when you're doing something. And like everything, you'll also have the ability to set execute an item focused, item unfocused scripts. This behaves very similar to your standard list. Alright, so we've got that. I don't have a cursor set because I almost forgot that, so let's go ahead and do a cursor. We'll do a mask. And we're going to make, I haven't tested this out, so this will be fun. Let's see, I have all sorts of little images here. I'm sure one is good. Selector, I think. There we go, cool, perfect. There we go. 96 by 96, that'll be great. Okay. It's a cursor mask. Let's make sure that the offset's good. Mask margin. Let's make the margin 10. Okay. So there we go. So now we have our compass, our new golden compass menu. This is a menu type. Oh, good. It's even set as such. Okay. So we have that on this little test map I have here. Very Christmas themed. I have main menu. and I'm going to override it with something. Okay, the new golden compass is not showing up, so let's just double check. Ah, because it's an overlay. It's actually a menu, that's why. There we go. Now when I go down here, we'll see the new golden compass. I'm going to save my project, execute, drag over my item, or my window. This is definitely not a sample that I use to test. By the way, this is all running in a debug mode, so this is pulling this many frames literally while a debugger is attached. The typical frame rates on these are about 4 times what the debug is, so that's always something to look forward to. Alright, I'm going to open up my menu. Here are my options. Compass. Now, I'm going to go ahead and change one other thing, because you saw me kind of moving around. On this guy, our compass list, I'm going to go ahead and require key selection. So this now requires me to hold the keys down. So if I want to go to the top left, for example, in this menu, let me drag that over. There we go. I have to hold down the key. When I let go, it goes back to the middle. So this is very reminiscent of something like Breath of Fire 3 or Shining Force is another good example. And probably countless others that I have not played with. In any case, that's another example of one of the things added in September. We're going to go ahead and talk about the battle programming refresh. This was actually asked for by some of our architects for basically to kind of continue the workflow on the 2D sample project. So from here, you'll notice that this is my Gnomester, one of Final Boss Blue's assets. You'll notice this is actually completely changed. This looks a lot more like your scripting right now. So now you'll see that there is a way to have something interrupt battles. This means that it happens immediately as a response to whatever condition. And you can actually prevent battle phase updates. So this could be, you'd want to check this if you want something like a final attack, right? Because if you prevent the battle phase update, it tries to apply status effects and whatnot. So your character, if they die because their hit points drop to 0, or however you have it set up, that would happen. This would never fire because you didn't actually prevent that from something else from happening before it. So this prevents the battle phase update from happening immediately. So that means, again, if you're translating this to something like your final attack materia or something from, say, another game, and you want something to happen when hit points drop to 0, then you would want to check this. Otherwise, it would just go ahead and happen. Conditions. You'll notice now that this condition dropdown has a lot more stuff, always, and I think random were the prior ones we had, but now you have global variables, switches. I believe enemy formation status effect was there. My statistics, so you can determine if the character's statistics are equal to 0. You can also, in regards to this, you can also make it a scalar, right? So that means basically it's a percentage, right? And then so I can have interrupts battle, prevent battle phase update. In this case, I'd actually want to get rid of these two if I'm trying to make it fine. You know what? Let's just go and do it. We're going to do it. We'll do it live. Just as Bert would do it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and add a quick battle program. See down here. By the way, these happen from top to bottom. So, put the one you care about most at the top. Yet again, another feature. I've actually done this now so that you can drag and move them around and resort them. So we're going to create a battle interrupt. And we're going to prevent battle updates. And we need to add a condition. We're going to go ahead and add when the statistic for hit points, I have hit points on this one because why not, is less than or equal to 0. This is how I just write my code, guys, so it is what it is. And I want to replace my enemy now with this other guy that doesn't exist yet. So now what's going to happen is when this guy drops to 0 hit points, he'll be replaced by this. And that's an interrupt, yep. And we'll go ahead and make Gnomester Ultra. Kind of like MK Ultra, but a little bit more interesting. Actually, I don't think I have it. There we go. And you know what? This guy is going to be, for some reason, a reindeer, because One Piece just came out, and Chopper will be next. So, let's celebrate that. Yay, Chopper. Alright, so now, I have this guy. Let's go ahead and set a level. Experience. We'll have him at level 0. And hit points, just so that it's not super crazy. I don't see hit points on here for some reason.
A few moments later.
That's a bug worth looking into. We'll just set all the hit points equal to... Yeah, we don't need to do this. I'll get an exception on my other screen. That's expected. Set all their hit points to 50. Every iteration of this guy. Gnomester Ultra. So now what's going to happen is... when you defeat the Gnomester, you're going to get Gnomester Ultra dropped in. So let's go ahead and do that. And let's go ahead and create a little new entity guy here. I could do Bert's math meme, but I can also just do this instead. Alright, so we got that, and this guy will just initiate our battle right here. Start battle. Yep, there we go. Perfect. Go ahead and run with this. Here's this guy. Let's start our battle up.
NANI?!
Master Parallax.